At number 3 we have Lightbreak Sword, the Raging Brachydios sword and shield. It has a bloated attack value of 420, meaning that when we divide by the sword and shield's bloat value of 1.4, we get this weapon's true attack value of 300. Compared to the other sword and shields in this game, 420 bloated attack is very powerful. It also comes with 30 hits of purple, which should be plenty with Master's Touch, a little bit of blast damage, which is the best status in Iceborne, and a level 4 and a level 3 slot, which is almost as good as you can get. The great thing about this weapon is that it can be crafted as soon as you hit Master Rank 24, since that's the only requirement to fight Raging Brachydios, so you can craft this thing quite early in the endgame. At number 2, we have Sophie's Shatter Fang, although any of the other Sophie sword and shields could work here. The Shatter Fang is just overall the best option. Now its stats are completely determined by what awaken abilities you slot in there, but its main advantage is that you can slot in a set bonus skill, the strongest options being Teostra's Technique for Master's Touch, and Volcana Divinity for Frostcraft. This reduces the number of armor pieces you need with those specific set bonus skills by 1, making it much easier to build for those set bonuses. As for what else to add for the awaken abilities, in general you should do some combination of attack increases and sharpness increases. Here are just 2 examples of how to awaken the Sophie sword and shields. If you plan on using it for Frostcraft, I recommend 1 sharpness increase for Long White since you cannot build for Master's Touch or Transcendence. And if you plan on using it for Master's Touch, I recommend either all attack increases for a higher attack with white sharpness, or 2 sharpness increases for purple sharpness with a lower attack. This is by no means an exhaustive list, so feel free to experiment more with the awaken abilities. Now before the number 1 sword and shield, let's talk about an honorable mention, which is Saber's Gullets 2, the Great Jagger sword and shield. Now you might be scratching your heads because its attack stat is a relatively low 364 bloated attack with 30 hits of white sharpness. So why is this in my honorable mention when there are stronger options? Well, firstly, it's a relatively easy sword and shield to craft as you are progressing through the story. Secondly, it's elementless, so you can take advantage of non-elemental boost if you have that decoration. And since the weapon has 2 level 3 slots, you can use one of them for non-elemental boost. And lastly, it's a Rarity 10 final upgrade, which means you could take advantage of augments earlier. Specifically, it's the best sword and shield that can take advantage of the health regen augment early, and if you played this game, you should know how powerful health regen is. You will need some tempered Odogaron parts from the Gaiden lands, which does require Master Rank 50 since you need to raise either the Coral region or Rotten region to level 5, but all the other sword and shields in my list are Rarity 12 sword and shields, and to get health regen for those, you need tempered Namiel parts from the Gaiden lands, which requires Master Rank 100. Additionally, Rarity 10 weapons get 5 augment slots from the start, meaning you can slot in an affinity increase, so even though it's obviously not as strong as most Rarity 12 sword and shields, I would still consider this a great sword and shield for story progression, and a very viable option for Master Rank 50 to 99 due to health regen. Alright, now for the number 1 sword and shield in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Unsurprisingly, it's the true Fatalis sword. Yeah, this sword and shield is ridiculous. 490 attack is the greatest out of all the sword and shields in this game by a large margin. And even though it has negative 30% affinity, you probably have the full Fatalis set anyways, so you can easily max out Crit Eye, Weakness Exploit, Agitator, and Maximum Might to still get to 100% affinity. Oh, and it has base purple sharpness, high Elder Seal, and 2 level 4 slots. You can pretty much annihilate every monster in this game with this weapon, and there's absolutely no reason not to craft this sword and shield. Now there are plenty of other really good sword and shields in this game that I didn't mention because I kinda wanted to keep this to a top 3, so feel free to share your top picks for sword and shields in this game in the comments down below. But that'll be all for me. Make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.